Hi, welcome to our next chapter, Human Cell, Human Autonomy and Physiology. Human cell. Cells are basic building block of all organisms and is composed of trillions of cells. They provide structure for the body, take in nutrients from food, convert those nutrients into energy and carry out specialized functions. Cells also contain the body's hereditary material and can make copies of themselves. Most recent estimates put the number of cells at around 30 trillion. About 330 billion cells are replaced daily, equivalent to about 1% of all our cells. The number of cells that an adult male loses per minute is roughly 96 million. Fortunately, in that same minute, about 96 million cells are replaced. Neurons. The neuron is a basic working unit of the brain, a specialized cell designed to transmit information to other nerve cells, muscle or muscle glands, and gland cells. Neurons are cells within the nervous system that transmit information to other nerve cells, muscle or gland cells. Most neurons have a cell body, an axon and dendrites. Based on their roles, the neurons found in human nervous system can be divided into three classes: sensory neurons, motor neurons and interneurons. Even though we cannot conceive the number of stars in the Milky Way or the number of neurons in the human brain, equating the two gives people a sense of enormity, and the fact remaining that the neurons in our body are as same as the number of stars in our galaxy, putting it approximately from 84 to 200 billion. Our brain is opposite and identical to our galaxy by taking stars as neurons and white matter to the etheric space. Each neuron normally has 1000 neurological connections. Our neurons are able to regenerate even in adults. This process is called neurogenesis. You can boost this by a good amount of sleep, reducing stress, following a good diet plan, meditation and yoga, exercise, sunlight, intermediate fasting, eating turmeric, blueberries, walnut, apple cider vinegar, green tea, dark chocolate, omega-3 fatty acids, herbs such as Brahmi, Shankpushpi, saffron compiled into an Ayurvedic formula, Brahm Rasyan. They all increase neurons in our brain.
What kills
Neurons. Concussions can kill neurons rapidly. Contusions, head injury lead to loss of large quantities of neurons. Amphetamine abuse, antipsychotics, benzodiazepine abuse, cigarettes and tobacco products, cocaine, ecstasy, inhalants and methamphetamines can kill cells. Fluoride toothpaste can also kill brain cells. Human autonomy. Human autonomy is the study of structure of human body. An understanding of autonomy is key to the practice of medicine and other areas of health. It describes the structure and location of the different components of an organism to provide a framework for understanding. Human autonomy studies the way that every part of a human, from molecules to bones, interacts to form a functional whole, from the microscopic to the macroscopic. Autonomy and physiology. Human autonomy deals with how all parts of human body interact to form a functional whole. The study of autonomy as separate from the study of physiology, although the two are often taught together. While autonomy studies the structure of parts of an organism, physiology is concerned with the way those parts function together. For example, an anatomist may study the types of tissues found in different parts of the heart, while a physiologist may study how the heart regulates blood flow to supply oxygen to other organs in the body. While autonomy and physiology study different aspects, together they provide a more complete picture of what the human body is and how it works. Human physiology is the study of mechanical, physical and biochemical processes that support the body's function. Physiology is the science of the normal functioning of living systems. Physiology studies the process and mechanisms that allow an organism to survive, grow and develop. Physiological processes that are ways in which organ systems, organs, tissues, cells and biomolecules work together to accomplish the complex goal of sustaining life. Physiological mechanisms are the smaller physical and chemical events that make up a larger physiological process. Human physiology studies the functions of humans, other organs and cells, and how all these functions combine to make life, growth and development possible. Life functions. All life forms require certain core chemical elements for biochemical functioning from the ecosystem. These include carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus and sulfur. The elemental micronutrients for all organisms. Together these make up carbohydrates, nucleic acids, proteins and lipids. The four categories of molecules that make up the structure and function of organic life. Level 1. Cells. The first and most basic level of organization is the cellular level. A cell is the basic unit of life and is the smallest unit capable of reproduction. While cells vary greatly in the structure and function based on the type of organism, all cells have a few things in common. Cells are made up of organic molecules, contain nucleic acids such as DNA and RNA, are filled with fluid called cytoplasm, and have a membrane made out of lipids. Cells also contain many structures within the cytoplasm called organelles, which perform various cellular functions. All cells have three things in common, no matter what type of cells they are. All cells have a cell membrane which separates the inside of the cell from its environment. Cytoplasm, which is a jelly-like fluid, and DNA, which is the cell's genetic material. There are two broad categories of cells. The first category is eukaryotic cell. They have organelles which include the nucleus and other special parts. Eukaryotic cells are more advanced complex cells such as those found in plants and animals. Second category is the prokaryotic cells. They don't have a nucleus or membrane enclosed organelles. They do have a genetic material, but it is not contained within a nucleus. Prokaryotic cells are always one-celled or unicellular organisms such as bacteria. So what are organelles? Organelle means little organ. Organelles are special parts of a cell that have unique jobs to perform. Let's start with the nucleus. The control center of a cell nucleus contains DNA or genetic material. DNA dictates what the cell is going to do and how it's going to do it. Chromatin is the tangled spread out form of DNA found inside the nuclear membrane. When a cell is ready to divide, DNA condenses into structures known as chromosomes. The nucleus also contains a nucleolus, which is a structure where ribosomes are made. After ribosomes leave the nucleus, they will have the important job of synthesizing or making proteins outside the nucleus. The ribosomes and the rest of the organelles float around in cytoplasm, which is a jelly-like substance. Ribosomes may wander freely within the cytoplasm or attached to the endoplasmic reticulum, sometimes abbreviated as ER. There are two types of ER. Rough ER has ribosomes attached to it, and smooth ER doesn't have ribosomes attached to it. Endoplasmic reticulum is a membrane enclosed passageway for transporting materials such as proteins synthesized by ribosomes. Proteins and other materials emerge from the endoplasmic reticulum in small vesicles, which the Golgi apparatus, also called the Golgi body, receives as proteins move through the Golgi body. They are customized into forms that cells can use. The Golgi body does this by holding the proteins into usable shapes or adding other materials onto them, such as lipids or carbohydrates. Vacuoles are sac-like structures that store different materials. Here in this plant cell, the central vacuole stores water. Going back to the animal cell, you will see an organelle called lysosome. They are the garbage collectors. They take in worn out or damaged cell parts. They are filled with enzymes and break down the cellular debris. The mitochondrion is an organelle that is powerhouse for both the animal and plant cells. During the process called cellular respiration, the mitochondria makes ATP molecules that provide the energy for all the cells' activities. Cells that need more energy have more mitochondria. Meanwhile, the cell contains its shape through a cytoskeleton. It contains the thread-like microfilaments, which are made of protein, and microtubules, which are thin, hollow tubes. Some organisms, such as plants, that are photoautotrophine, meaning they capture sunlight for energy, have cells with an organelle called cytoplast, and this is where the photosynthesis happens. It's green because it has a green pigment called chlorophyll. Plant cells also have a wall outside of their cell membrane that shape, support, and protect the plant cell. Animal cells never have a cell wall. There are many other unique structures that only some cells have. Here are just a few. Humans, for example, the respiratory tract is a lines which have cilia. They are microscopic, hair-like projections that can move in waves. This feature helps trap in inhaled particles in the air and expels them when you cough. Another unique feature in some cells is flagella. Some bacteria have flagella. Flagella is like a little tail at the end that helps it to move around or propel itself. Only human cell that have a flagella is a sperm cell. In summary, remember, eukaryotic cell is plant and animal cells with a nucleus and membrane enclosed organelles, while prokaryotic cells, unicellular organisms, are without these things or a nucleus membrane enclosed organelles. All cells have cell membrane, cytoplasm, and genetic material. And even though only plant cells have cytoplast, both plant and animal cells have mitochondria. Level 2, tissues. Tissues are a group of similar cells of the same origin that carry out a specific function together. Humans have 4 different types of basic tissues. Connective tissues, such as bone tissue, are made up of fibrous cells and give shape and structure to organs. Muscle tissue is made up of cells that can contract together and allow animals to move. Epithelial tissues make up the outer layers of organs, such as skin and the outer layer of the stomach. Nervous tissue is made up of specialized cells that transmit information through electrochemical impulses, such as the tissue of nerves, the spinal cord, and the brain. Level 3, organs. An organ is a structure made up of different tissues that perform specific body functions. Most organs contain tissues such as parenchyma, used to perform the organ functions, stroma, connective tissue specific to organs, and epithelial. Organs may be solid or hollow and vary considerably in size and complexity. The heart, lungs, and the brain are all examples of organs. Level 4, organ systems. An organ system is a collection of organs that work together to perform a similar function. There are 11 different organ systems in the human body, each with its own specific functions. One example is digestive system, which is made up of many organs that work together to digest and absorb nutrients from food. While most organ systems control a few specific physiological processes, some processes are more complex and require multiple organ systems to work together. For example, blood pressure is controlled by a combination of the renal system, kidneys, the circulatory system, and the nervous system.